Well, Taoiseach, your response to Deputy Martin's question on home help hours just reflects again very vividly the fact that you and your government live in cloud cuckoo land. Because that family in West Cork, those women are not alone. I reckon that every deputy in this House could be and perhaps should be in direct correspondence with you to set out the hundreds, the thousands of cases where older people and those with a disability have been left in the lurch, abandoned by this government. You talk as though you don't realise that you've actually made cuts to this service. You've made the cuts and the cuts are hurting. Taoiseach, last night President Obama was re-elected and I'm sure we all congratulate him on that. It may interest you to know that he earns an annual salary of $315,000.
Sorry, what topic are we discussing here, Deputy? You can only discuss one topic. Are we doing home help now or Deputy President Obama? Which?
If I might be allowed.
No, I won't allow you because you're entitled to one topical issue. Thank you.
Is that multiple choice?
Of course, that type of salary is the kind of money that in this state we reserve for retired bankers and politicians. Last night we heard the news that former AIB chief Eugene Sheehy bowed to public pressure and has agreed to reduce his pension to a paltry €250,000 a year. Now that's the kind of money, Taoiseach, that the average citizen would only see if they were lucky enough to win the lotto. I want to ask you what further steps your government is going to take to tackle these pensions. Will you ensure that other retired bankers also receive a similar cut? Retired directors in AIB and Anglo and Irish Nationwide and the Bank of Ireland and Permanent TSB. And what about holders of ministerial pensions, some of whom are still in full employment? Pat the Cope Gallagher, for instance.
Deputy, please, you're over time. Would you please?
Former leader of your own party in Dick Spring.
Thank you, Deputy. I'd like to ask the Taoiseach to reply to your question. Thank you. Thank you.
You have invited us to write to you in respect of home help hours, and we will do that.
Will you resume? Deputy, will you resume your seat,
to
please?
the politicians
Would you respect
and bank
the chair? Thank you. Will you respect the chair? Thank you very much.
What's your government going to do?
Thank you very much, Deputy. Deputy, I won't ask you a second time to resume your seat. Deputy, do you ready? Deputy, I'm on my feet. And in future, when I'm on my feet, will you please resume your seat? The same rules apply to everybody in this House, including you. Well, I'm not going to be bullied in this chair. I now call on the Taoiseach. I will not be bullied, and listen to me. No, well, I won't be bullied. You respect the chair. It's the only thing that's left in this House. Taoiseach, thank you.
Ceann Comhairle, about 20% of the population over 65, that's 100,000 people, receive home help service and home care from one or other of the range of options that are there. It's not unusual for Deputy McDonald to attempt to compete for populism with the technical group, and you're at it again this morning. I'm glad to note that following the letter written by the Chief Executive of AIB to a number of persons, of former employees of Allied Irish banks, not based on their salary but based on their responsibility, that the Chief Executive has written to them in regard to the pensions they receive. And I'm glad to note that the former Chief Executive, Mr. Sheehy, has made a personal decision in regard to the level of pension that he intends to draw. These persons, Deputy McDonald, and I answered this question yesterday, have been in receipt of pensions under contractual arrangements which I cannot change and which the Minister for Finance cannot change, and which under our constitutional law are recognised as a property right. And it really behoves you to come in here and lecture everybody else when the leader of your own party was drawing an allowance for years for a parliament he didn't recognise.
Deputy MacDonald, you have 1 minute. Thank you for a supplement.
Thank you, Ceann Comhairle. So, to sum up again, this is a government that can take home help hours from
Sorry,
people
Deputy, we're dealing
across
with salaries. Thank you. Pension.
cannot intervene in these outrageous pension arrangements. You can simply write them a Dear John letter in the hope that they will voluntarily take a cut. That's your contention. You cited the constitutional limitations and the property rights associated with it. That's a familiar tune. Your colleagues in government have been singing it for the last year and a half. But you know, Taoiseach, or at least you should know, that there are other mechanisms, other legislative and taxation mechanisms that your government can utilise to recoup and minimise these massive pensions. And the big question is why you have not done that. And I believe it's because you don't want to do that. You won't write to parents or pensioners and afford them the opportunity of voluntarily taking a cut. That's mandatory for the little people. But you won't step up to the plate and use the instruments available to you to deal with this matter. And that is indefensible and disgraceful, Taoiseach.
Thank you.